Good Thursday afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here, live from the First Alert Digital Desk. Just wanted to keep an eye on some of our storms that are moving through. We do have a few severe thunderstorm warnings, so that I start our live, join you here, just keeping an eye on radar. I can try to answer any questions. As always, if you head over to our Facebook page, WNEM TV5 News, you can send in your questions over there, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But again, I want to thank everyone for joining me. We're just going to keep an eye on radar as we get these next couple of hours, because we do have quite an active period possible, especially to our south. Genesee, Shiawassee, Lapeer County. If you're in Sanilac County, you've already had a pretty active afternoon. As we take a look right now, Pinpoint Doppler is showing us all of Lapeer County is in a special weather statement. And I'll actually look real quick just to see. Caleb says hi from Adrian. Hello, Caleb. Thank you for joining. Let me just see what they had this special weather statement for real quick. So if you see me on my phone, that's just me looking at the warnings. Sometimes it's a little bit quicker for me to get the details than our computer system, but there is a special weather statement that I can't seem to find. They may have just replaced that, because there is actually a severe thunderstorm warning in that almost same exact location. So this is just to the east of Lapeer going into Goodland, Imlay City. You're starting to see some of that heavier rain. Luckily, the core of that system looks to miss you north. I think if you're in Brown City, this is another area that maybe just head indoors right now. You're already getting some rain, but the heaviest of that cell looks to be heading right towards you right now, and is possibly producing some hail up to about an inch. Heavy rainfall, lots of lightning, winds up to, let's see what they got those winds up there for this morning, 60 miles per hour. So definitely a strong storm. Luckily, nothing tornadic with this. Don't have much spin in the atmosphere. Still low. It's something we have to just keep an eye on. Hi from Saginaw Township, says Deborah. Draylin says it's 80 degrees currently at my house now. That's what we're seeing across the region. If you've had some rain, or if you're in an area that cold front moved through, you definitely have cooled down just a little bit. We have Birch Run, super fast-moving storm, half-inch of rain. Doesn't surprise me. That storm was pretty strong, had a lot of strength with it right now. Just keeping an eye on this system in Lapeer County. Obviously, if you're Goodland, Brown City, Lynn, as you're just getting out of our area, but even in southern Sanilac County, I think those will be areas that go indoors if you can. Right now, this is, again, producing 60-mile-per-hour winds. It's producing hail up to about an inch. So definitely a pretty active storm. Luckily, not seeing any tornadic rotation with that. And you're also getting very heavy rainfall. You can see very dark reds, almost purples, starting to appear from the core of this storm as it approaches Goodland. So again, just be prepared for that. You may get some flash flooding. I do want to zoom out real quick and just look at other areas, because there was a severe thunderstorm warning just south of Shiawassee towards Williamston, Weberville, into Fowlerville that was also producing 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, and is moving to like the northeast. So that could enter our southern Shiawassee and Genesee County. So if you're in Fenton, Grand Blanc, really anywhere south of 69, I think that'd be the area that you could have some concerns. Glad for, yeah, a bunch of people, we're starting to see power outages. Let me see if I can load that up real quick and get that loaded up. It sometimes wants to fight. I know I can't zoom in, can I? So let me just see what I can do about getting power outages. Consumers. So you just see how many areas have been impacted today. It's not just one area. We sort of had that first wave roll in right around, I'd say 2 to 3 p.m. that knocked quite a bit of power for areas to the north towards Gladwin and then into Iosco County at that time. So this continues to develop, but again, we're just watching a pretty long line of storms that at this point is stretching. I'm going to say, even though there's not much rain here towards western Lapeer and eastern Genesee County, this is a line that has really stretched itself out. This is all along a cold front that has moved through from really Sanilac County all the way down to Chicago, maybe even further than that actually. We're looking at central Illinois. You could see that pink area there. That is where we're actually seeing a severe thunderstorm watch. Now, there was a mesoscale discussion that was issued for our southern counties. They haven't extended that watch quite yet, and they actually just canceled a watch on the western side of the state. So we're starting to see changes. They haven't extended that watch into Shiawassee, Genesee, or Lapeer County, so that's always a good sign. I think the question for this afternoon, especially for that area, was will we see the environment there, especially with that first round of rain that moved through that we're seeing now past the lake into Canada. This actually was our first round that rolled in. Then we sort of have a second round that really died out over the lake, and now we're on our third round through Sanilac County. So maybe an area you could see some flash flooding, especially here over the next couple hours as you have more showers and thunderstorms entering the region. But if anyone's joining me, thank you. As always, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of eastern Lapeer County towards Brown City. Imlay City, you're just going to be north of you. Goodland is another area. I think a good sign, it looks like that core of that system is starting to shrink just a little bit. So that's a good sign that maybe the environment's not so great there. I do want to just make our lightning just a little bit bigger. I think it's a good sign. Lightning's always a good telltale sign. If a storm is keeping its strength, the less lightning you see usually is a signal that's a weaker storm as it moves in. So I think we are seeing a little bit less lightning from this system, but still has that severe thunderstorm warning. Brown City, you were also right on the edge of that, if not included. You may be just a little bit too far east. But Burnside is another city. North Branch actually just got moved out of that. Burnside, you're in that warning, but it does look like that system is sticking south of you right now. So hopefully that will continue to be the case. It's definitely moving towards southern Sanilac County, south of Peck. We'll see how it holds together as it moves into an area that, again, has seen a few storms move through already this afternoon. So probably not as great of an environment. It's been eating away at any of that energy. As I check my phone real quick just to make sure nothing new has been issued by the National Weather Service. No. I'll mute my mic real quick. No, sorry about that. Water decided it wanted to fight me a little bit. But again, we just have these isolated showers that have developed mostly through Genesee, Shiawassee, and Lapeer County that have continued over the last, I'd say, 2 hours. Is Saginaw going to see any rain at all? We'll have to see how this area ends up holding together. It's tough to say about severe weather. I think because we're not seeing any severe weather with this line that's south of Grand Rapids, we'll see how far north this gets. This may end up traveling towards Saginaw. I think the chances, though, Deborah, right now, pretty low to see any more rain chances in Saginaw outside of maybe this line on the backside, and then what you're seeing right now, just with some development in northern Saginaw County. But even if this is developing, it is very light, especially up towards Bay City. You're probably getting a light rain, if anything, right now. And then just along M46, we're seeing a cell develop. So you may end up getting some rain from this smaller cell that's developing through Saginaw. It's probably going to be 7:15 if I had to make a guess. Just going to check my phone real quick, as always, just to see any updates. Obviously, the National Weather Service gets any reports very quick. So it's one of the ways that we get any storm damage reports. Up north, there's quite a bit of them that they've been sending in on and off throughout much of our afternoon. And again, there's been lots of power outage reports to the north. I'm actually going to try to pull that up real quick. If I can get the map to want to work for me. Consumers. There we go. It wants to finally load. And just to show areas that we're seeing the most impact right now when it comes to losing power. Let's see if I can get this to want to load for us. Again, it's a whole different way I have to do it. I don't know if it's actually going to let me do this. What I can do is this, actually. So I apologize. We'll just do this together, you know. try to work through things. But again, thank you everyone for joining me. Deb asked, little downpour in Bad Axe earlier, just yuck, muggy right now. Yeah, it's definitely been a muggy day. Let's see if I can find dew points currently, just to see what we're sitting at across the region. Because again, this rain will have some influence on dew points. So looking at dew points, yeah, still muggy. Mid to upper 60s, lower 70s, mid 70s. Lapeer at 75, Flint 69. So even with the rain, the dew points are still staying pretty high right now. So, and sadly, if you're looking for some relief from those dew points, you may get it a little bit tomorrow. It looks like dew points return back to the 70s by the end of the day, Saturday into Sunday. So we're just going to remain sticky over the next couple of days. Going to head back to Pinpoint and Doppler real quick. I just want to see what they have for special weather statements. So again, they still hold that special weather statement into Lapeer County. They actually just issued a special weather statement for pretty much a majority of Sanilac County now, including Sandusky, Argyle, into the eastern side of this of the county, with Applegate, Deckerville, Delaware also being included, and that is for 40-mile-per-hour winds and pea-sized hail. So again, I just get into your shelter. Luckily, we're not seeing as much lightning from this system as it was before. But as always, I would get into your shelter if you can, or just into your house, I should say. Your shelter is maybe too much for this, but indoors. Find a way to get indoors, into your house, under a roof. If it's a barn, that's another thing. I know a lot of people can get into their barn if you're out doing some yard work or working outside. You get in your barn, maybe a shed real quickly. But I think if you can, get inside your house just as this moves through. It is producing, again, hail up to about pea-sized and winds up to 40 miles per hour. Just had hail, Jeffrey says. Again, doesn't surprise me. Some of these storms really have had that opportunity to produce hail. And just like this severe thunderstorm warning we're seeing in Lapeer County, I bet you they cancel that once it moves into Sanilac County. I think that's going to end up becoming a special weather statement over the next couple of hours, or at least the next couple of minutes as it moves through. But for the most part, these have just stayed in that severe characteristics with winds up to 50, 60 miles per hour, then some hail up to about an inch. I just want to make sure they have not extended that watch, so I would be surprised if they do end up extending that watch at this point. We were in the mesoscale discussion, and quickly I do want to see if I can consumers energy outage map for anyone that is just curious of what we're seeing across the state. If I can find our map, there we go. So just quickly, I'm going to load up our power outage map. I know it's a little bit distorted, but it's definitely been areas up north of the bay. You're looking at Prescott. West Branch, you've been pretty lucky. There is a few power outages in town, mostly to the east of you though, along M55. And then like I said, I've seen a few reports in chat of Gladwin. You're still seeing power outages. And I think the biggest concern for a lot of these are going to be what time they get fixed. So this one north of Gladwin is 10 p.m. This one east of Gladwin's 8:45, so you're still about maybe an hour to two. Looking west of Gladwin, there's actually no restoration estimate yet. So that could become a concern, especially with these warmer temperatures. Even if you're not sensitive or you're fine, you're staying hydrated, I'd say just make sure you're checking up on your neighbors. Elderly, those are the people that could have the biggest impact with power outages in our warm temperatures. This is a big area north of Gladwin. You're looking at 10 p.m., but 1,000 people in that one. As you get towards Long Lake, also looking at 10 p.m. So still got quite a bit of time here to see some power outage restoration. But back to our Pinpoint Doppler. They have just okay, no, that's a pretty big severe thunderstorm warning they have down south towards Hillsdale, Sturgis, south of Jackson. Luckily, that will stay south of us as it moves to the east here over the next few hours. But we're definitely just keeping an eye on this area south of Shiawassee, even this line that's moving into Ingham County, into Lansing, could also be showing some activity that we may have to keep an eye on. And again, I think the concerns for the night will definitely be winds up to 70 miles per hour and hail up to an inch. Tornado chances are pretty small at this point into the evening. Not going to count them out, the thumb especially. If you know us here, the thumb usually can catch people out. You just get maybe some cooler air off the lake. And it's an area that doesn't have very good radar coverage. So if you do get a tornado, it's very hard to tell in that area. But back to our region, still have that severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Lapeer County. I think at this point they're probably going to cancel it. That cell's really looking to want to weaken, and they may have already issued it as a special weather statement. They haven't. I wouldn't be surprised though, southern Sanilac County, south of Brown towards Yale, that area also gets a special weather statement as this moves east. But a good sign is weakening right now. So any other rain that's moving through, again, Bay City, you may have just seen some light rain. Anyone in chat from Bay City, let me know if you did see some light rain as a cell tried to develop. Then into Saginaw, we're about to maybe see some rain if this cell holds together. Maybe more to the north side of Saginaw, we'll see some of that rain. It might end up missing just a bit north, but it is still a possibility. We zoom out back to Genesee. A pretty good-looking storm right now is moving towards Fenton and Grand Blanc. Luckily, it's another sign that lightning is weakened out of that cell. So we'll see if they end up issuing a special weather statement for that. But right now, we're getting pretty lucky that most of that severe weather is staying to our south. Perry down to Williamston, seeing a pretty active cell. I know that area pretty well, so they're probably getting woken up just a little bit. And actually, did we just get the watch? Did I curse it? No, the watch is south of us. Okay. Right? Yes, the watch is south of us. Doesn't surprise me with what we're seeing right now. Let me see if I can find our alerts just to point this out. It actually might be hard to tell. Yeah, you can't really tell, but there is a severe thunderstorm watch now for counties just to our south. So far you're in the clear for that watch for Genesee, Shiawassee, and Lapeer County. Let's see if we can do this real quick. It gives you a better image. We'll just worry about that later. But again, I want to thank everyone for joining me for this afternoon. I just sit around, answer some questions in chat. Again, if you're watching on our YouTube page or on our website, you can also head over to our Facebook page at WNEM TV5 News and send your questions in. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Obviously, sometimes areas outside of our DMA I don't really get the chance to look at really in depth, so it's sometimes tough to answer questions, but I'll try my best to give you the information that is needed. But for now, they have canceled that severe thunderstorm warning in eastern Lapeer County, and they haven't issued another special weather statement, so that's maybe a good sign that cell is weakening. There was just I think that's that severe thunderstorm watch end up being issued for our counties towards Metro Detroit, but it is including, yeah, you can see that pink color. I'm actually going to do this because I like that pink a little better. So that pink, that is that severe thunderstorm watch. So as you can see, it's just avoiding us at this point, which is a good thing. We don't want to see any severe weather. Right now, I think our biggest concern areas are definitely into Sanilac County, but luckily those cells have continued to weaken. And I think far south, we're talking about far southern Shiawassee County towards Perry, even just south of you now, you're probably getting a good light show in Perry. Let me see if I can have my, get any photos, because that is, again, an area that I know well. I have some friends and family in that area. Maybe they can send me some pictures if they're getting anything interesting right now. Good evening, Scott, to you as well from Mount Morris. Luckily, you and Mount Morris have been pretty lucky. You've had a few cells move through, but the most severe warning definitely missed you just to the north there in Mount Morris. But again, thank you for joining, Scott. We're just going to keep an eye on these cells to the south. I think the biggest concerns for these are going to be winds up to 50, 60 miles per hour. Quite a bit of lightning. I'm actually, again, going to make that lightning bigger so we can see it. I think we shrunk it earlier just to have a better sight of heavy rainfall. But for now, I think I'm going to make them a little bit bigger so we can see just where we're getting lots of lightning. I think that's always, again, a good sign of our storm strength. Farmington Hills, I think that's farther south. I think you're in that watch in Farmington Hills. So for now, again, this is out of our area, but I'll answer it real quick. You are seeing a severe thunderstorm watch. You do have this line, this main line that has been trying to produce severe thunderstorms over the last few hours. So just keep an eye, I think, on this area right here. If you're within anywhere of Metro Detroit, Farmington Hills, Macomb County, Ann Arbor is probably going to be included. Brighton's starting to see that line move in. It's just right about here. You can see my arrow pointing. This is that area that could start to become severe. So far, it really hasn't. But this line has a lot of energy with it as it moves to the east. Real quick, I'm going to make this full screen so I can take a drink of water. I'll mute my mic too, but I'm still here. We're just going to keep an eye on radar here over the next probably 20 to 30 minutes. Apologize for that. Had to get a drink of water, check my phone real quick, and started coughing a little bit. So didn't want to have you guys hear me coughing. I know that's annoying for some. But again, I want to thank everyone for joining me here on this Thursday afternoon, sort of a impromptu stream, just to watch radar with you guys. As always, you can go check out our Facebook page at WNEM TV5 News. You can go over to our YouTube page under the same name. You can also check out our website at WNEM.com, where we obviously have updates on your forecast. You can always get updated forecasts there from all of the members of the TV5 First Alert Weather Team. We are always keeping you up to date with the latest weather, including this weekend, which doesn't look to be that bad. It's warm. If you're not liking the warm weather that we've been seeing, we continue that trend. But as we continue to look at radar right now, we're not seeing much. We don't have severe thunderstorm warnings, at least in our area. Those are down to the south. There are special weather statements, though, for northern Sanilac County. That's really M46 north at this point. And that's for 40-mile-per-hour winds and pea-sized hail. We're also seeing still a special weather statement for Lapeer County. I'm going to make sure that's not for flooding, because that could be for flooding instead of the severe thunderstorms, just because of its size. I wouldn't be surprised if that was for flooding instead of maybe severe weather, or at least that severe weather chance. So I'm just trying to look this up real quick, just to see, because sometimes the special weather statements sort of track the ways of sort of in between us getting warnings and not getting warnings. So that's a good example. Maybe they're just holding on to it. I'm still trying to find it out real quick. What is Lapeer's special weather statement? No, they still have that for that severe weather chance. So, interesting that has moved past. Maybe just has a long time. They're just feeling they don't need to cancel it. But again, just special weather statements through Sanilac. Even Tuscola County has still special weather statements holding on to. Lapeer County. But for now, most of the severe weather stayed south, at least for this sort of third wave, the main wave. I said no more rain in Saginaw Township for me anyway. Yeah, Linda, you're probably not going to see much more. You may, that's trying to, but if anything's falling from this rain, it is very light. I imagine that's not much than a few drops of rain, then it moves out towards Saginaw. But, well, did I just hear rumble thunder? I think I did. So maybe that cell's holding together. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't thunder. There's noises all the time from the building. But right now, I think we're just keeping an eye on southern Shiawassee, southern Genesee, Grand Blanc, Fenton. I think Perry are in one of those areas. Morris, Durand, Bancroft. That's another city in that area. Burns. Just stay aware. Heavy rainfall, I think, is your biggest concern right now. But you could see some smaller hail, winds up to 40, 50 miles per hour if this cell can continue to develop. I'm actually going to make it full screen for right now. I got to go quickly check on something else. They just canceled that special weather statement in Lapeer County, so that's a good sign. But I am going to keep up radar. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll answer them as quickly as I can. But just for now, I think with no severe weather moving in, I am just going to keep up radar for you to keep an eye on. And if anything changes, I'll hop right back here when I can. Hello, Brian. You asked, is North Livonia in the path? It is definitely going to be. If you live in anywhere in Metro Detroit, and I know that's a little bit out of our region, but if you're in anywhere towards Metro Detroit, Ann Arbor, we had Farmington Hills earlier, Macomb County, I know is a very popular area. And maybe if you have plans to head into downtown Detroit this afternoon, or maybe you work down there, you're definitely in line. Or in the area for this line. So just make sure you're staying weather aware. I think a good sign is so far outside of that one severe thunderstorm warning we had in northern Ingham County and that one we have now down towards really the Indiana border. It's just been special weather statements. So you're going to be looking at 40, 50 mile per hour winds and maybe some pea-sized hail to be dealing with as this line moves through. I think probably the bigger concern that's going to end up becoming here over the next hour or so is going to be flash flooding, just because you do have pretty slow moving cells that are moving east through our southern portions of the state and even our southern counties. I think if you really in that area along 69 in Genesee, Shiawassee, Lapeer, Sanilac counties, you're definitely going to be seeing, I think, a chance of some flash flooding. So as always, if you do come across some flash flooding, you're in your vehicle, turn around, don't drown. We've already had some reports out in, I think, Grand Rapids. Let me look. It might have been Kalamazoo, actually. It would make more sense if it was Kalamazoo just because they've had some rain. Let me look at the National Weather Service. No, Battle Creek, actually. I was totally off on both of my cities. Battle Creek has had reports of cars stalled out in flooded water. So, as always, if you do come across flooded roadways, turn around, don't drown. Play it safe with this because that could become the biggest concern with some of these storms, what we call training as they move to the east. But going to leave it here once again. As always, if you have a question, ask it in our chat over on Facebook. I'll try to answer it as quickly as I can, but we'll just keep it on our radar, on our pinpoint Doppler right now, just keeping an eye on these storms as they move through. Luckily, it does look like they're staying south of us, so hopefully by about 7:45, we can head off and go on for the rest of our evening into our night. Okay, I just want to point out for anyone that is still here, and I want to thank everyone for joining us, even if you've been in and out through the last couple of hours. Clio has lots of trees and power lines down, so that's another area that has just gotten a few of these cells that are strong. But if you're still here, you notice the white pop up. The National Weather Service has issued a special weather statement for southern, really all of, a majority of Shiawassee and Genesee County. Those include, let's see, winds up to 50 miles per hour and pea-sized hail. So we're getting a lot of pea-sized hail chances with this line, but just gonna zoom in real quick and just see what we got here. Definitely a pretty nice area of storms, not on the stronger side. That's why we've avoided the severe thunderstorm warnings for now, but you're definitely seeing some lightning starting to show up, maybe weakening a little bit. That was a cell that moved through Williamston and actually did have a severe thunderstorm warning with it. So good to see it as weakened, but you're still getting 50-mile-per-hour winds from this cell as it develops and pushes to the northeast, and actually did separate just a little bit. Grand Blanc to the south of you actually looks like it's probably entering town. Some heavy rainfall, a few rumbles of thunder. I'm not going to count out some small hail with that cell as it moves through Grand Blanc. And then Lake Fenton, you're definitely in the area that could see some stronger winds. Fenton also just south of there, really along 23 from just outside of Flint down through Genesee counties, definitely in the line of this sort of main cell that is moving to the east right now through Burns, just southeast of Perry, just south of Morris, or maybe even through Morris. You have Durand that may just end up getting south, but I would imagine you're seeing some rain. Bancroft, also another area that's going to see some rain here. Probably heavy as it moves through. Let me see if I can get some hail. Let's just look. Let's look at the water content. So yeah, you have probably had some smaller hail. Grand Blanc's probably seeing some smaller hail, possibly. So if you're in Grand Blanc, send us in a report if you have any small hail. Even strong winds is, again, producing 40 to 50 mile per hour wind reports possible. So just don't be surprised. It gets a little gusty, gets a little bit loud with the lightning that we're seeing from this system. It's less lightning, but it is still lightning with this. Now, if I can get back to our original, yeah, that's a little better. That we can see lightning, but Nick asked about New Lothrop. You're looking pretty good. I think it's just going to be south of you. You're going to get some rain, possibly, if this is lighter stuff is actually developing. Definitely going to see some rain chances with that. But I think any of that severe weather is definitely going to be south. It does look like, for the most part, severe weather is wanting to be south of 69. And I think that's really what that watch shows us. That severe thunderstorm watch that the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service they issued was for south of even our counties. So I don't think they were going to issue the whole counties of Shiawassee, Genesee with that watch. I think that's why they kept it south. But there still is some good cells moving through. Again, 50-mile-per-hour winds are definitely going to be possible with these areas of rain as they move through. And again, just be indoors. I know it's fun to look outside, especially as a meteorologist and someone who loves the weather, and I know there's a lot of people that do, and you want to be outdoors, but with lightning and heavy rain and strong winds, just stay indoors while this moves through. Play it safe, as always. And like I said earlier, you may come across some flash flooding, so if you do, turn around, don't drown. But for now, I think a good thing we're not seeing much in terms of rotation. Let's just look. Just to see, yeah, nothing in terms of rotation. I'm highlighting stuff I don't mean to. Let's just remove that. But we're looking in good shape right now. They actually just... No, that's the same severe thunderstorm watch. Okay, National Weather Service was trying to trick me a little bit. They put out a graphic about the, the severe thunderstorm watch. It's not a new one. It's the same one from before. But if you're just joining me, thank you. We do have a special weather statement for southern Shiawassee, southern Genesee County. 50-mile-per-hour winds, pea-sized hail with this system, lots of lightning. I'm also not going to count out some heavy rainfall causing some localized flooding. So that's going to become a concern, especially if you live, let me zoom in real quick, and I think it's going to be Grand Blanc is the area. You've had one cell move through here in the last 5 minutes. You then have this large area that's coming your way, and then you have a second area that's just north of Williamston, east of Lansing, towards Okemos and Hazlitt, that is moving sort of along the southern side of 69. That also looks to be heading your way. So you're looking at possibly multiple periods of heavy rain, plus you actually had possibly some heavy rain earlier with some of those earlier cells that we had. So again, I think Flint south to Fenton are going to be the areas that you could see some flooding possibilities, just because you've had training of cells developing over the last really 3 hours possibly, because even some of that development was at 4 p.m. As always, if you have any questions, send them over to our chat on Facebook at WNEM TV5 News. I'm going to just keep watching this, but again, I'm not going to be talking the whole time. If you have any questions, send them over there. I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible, but just going to sit here, continue to watch radar, just see what we have, especially with those special weather statements if they do want to become severe. I think a good sign is, though, it doesn't look like they're really wanting to strengthen much, more just continuing to weaken as they move east-northeast. The environment probably not as good in that location. We did have a cap that was in place that may be coming into play. And then you've obviously had some chances of showers and thunderstorms that could have eaten some of that energy that you've had. But I'm going to mute my mic. Again, I'm here just watching radar with you. If you have any questions, make sure you send them over into our chat. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us here on this Thursday with this line, at least in our area of the state, there in southern Genesee and southern Lapeer County. Looking like it wants to start to weaken. I am going to end this stream. As always, again, thank you for joining us here. I know there wasn't much talking. We just wanted to keep radar so people could watch on their own time. Try to answer as many questions as I could. As always, you can catch our live streams at 2 p.m. here from the First Alert Digital Desk. That's where we'll try to keep you up to date with your latest forecasts, especially tomorrow. We'll be looking at your weekend forecast and probably have some more updates on wildfire smoke as that rolls in. But once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. I am going to end the stream at this point with that sort of northern portion of this line wanting to weaken. If anything else pops up, obviously I'll be right back on here, keep you up to date as we get through the rest of our Thursday.